It's an interesting question. I think there's a number of different elements to sort of characterize that answer. One, you could look at on the technology side, we see a lot of rapid changes in the silicon market to PERC technology, which has driven up both manufacturing capacities as well as efficiencies that you're seeing, kind of in the global marketplace. I think the second element of that is just sort of regional demand. The competitive landscape is also affected by different markets and the extent of those different markets drive demand. We've seen a recent resurgence of demand out of China, which is obviously puts upward pressure on the global market prices in general, as they're off taking a lot of volume themselves.
Let me help you out with that China thing. So what you're referring to is actually, so what we see is a tremendous amount of demand coming out of China via the top rubber program. So what we see historically is a lot of the supply in the U.S. was coming from Malaysia. Now it's all that volume is going into China because there's a demand for higher efficiencies, et cetera, and so forth. And the premiums are there. So you've got that going on. You can't sell existing product from the mainland because they have existing tariffs on them. And the third case, you've got a 2-to-1 case, which I don't even know what's going to go on with that one. So all things aside, it's been an interesting ride, but I do think that the demand in different markets is really more indicative of where supply decisions will be made, especially as growth markets emerge.
I think to answer that question, it almost needs to be thought of somewhat market to market, because I think the challenges that the industry faces, while some can be applied to the global marketplace vis-a-vis supply-demand imbalances overall, with tariffs and other trade-related issues, I think when you look at specific regions, you probably come up with a different set of answers when it comes to what's the biggest challenge to overcome. I think the U.S. itself has a number of factors related to some recent trade disputes, as well as potentially the increasing, shall we say, less favorability by the federal government to the idea of a large-scale renewables deployment. Maybe some of the bigger political headwinds, I would say, that the U.S. market itself is facing, but perhaps there's some additional viewpoints here that can be shared.
Help you out with that U.S. thing.
What do you see as the #1 challenge in today's solar industry that needs to be overcome?
Yeah, I mean, wow. If I had a list, I would go through it, but the #1 challenge is how to kind of get the industry to start humming again, and how to get past this blip of this straight case, or whatever it is. But the bottom line is that there is, it's not like people talk to us at First Solar, being all serious for a second. It's not First Solar versus Trina or Chico, this person versus that person. The bigger picture is that we're trying to take on fossil generation, and we're really close right now. And what this happens is this unfortunate development, whether it's China, whether it's the U.S. political environment and trade protection, whatever it is, just slows it all down. Right? You're at this crux where you're literally sitting and you're competing on a dollar on an energy-wide basis with gas peakers, displacing that fuel source. And what this does, unfortunately, puts a big pause in the market. So I think it's going to be important. The biggest challenge is not only just to deal with it, but to kind of coalesce during this time, come out stronger when hopefully the damage is done is kind of mitigated.